Hi all and welcome to the FPL tips for game week 9. The games keep on coming thick and fast and we had Champions League matches over the weekdays as well. So we saw what happened in game week 8. Biggest result was obviously Leicester City overcoming Manchester United 4-2 and a superb performance by their forwards. I think everybody combined beautifully and it just exposed the basic problem which United is facing pertaining to their midfield, their work rate. But they turned it around yesterday in that brilliant game against Atlanta, wherein they came back from a 2-0 down. So it's been a great build up for them. Probably we can talk about the game against Liverpool on Sunday. That's going to be one of the cracking games of the season. So looking forward to that. Saw some great play from Manchester City, a routine victory. Liverpool were absolutely brilliant against Watford, winning 5-0, and Chelsea somehow survived 1-0 against Brentford, thanks to great effort from Mendy, the goalkeeper. So all in all, even though some teams have got great results, but nobody is running away in the league so far. And today we are going to discuss about from the fantasy point of view. Considering the number of changes which are happening, the rotations because of different competitions, and obviously the rest which is required for the players. So let's talk about a couple of key players for FPL game week 9 and who would be the real differentiators for this game week as well. And obviously we are also going to talk about some injuries, some people who have got out of favor because of other people actually replacing them. So there is a lot to talk about. So before I proceed, I would request you to subscribe to our channel. So let's start from the dream team which was there in the last game week. So Ben Chilwell has been remarkable, 2 goals in the last 2 games, and he has kept the likes of Marcus Alonso out. And Agbona again scored that winning goal 1-0. So a great result for West Ham. Ben Dunk has been super consistent, so has been the performances of Brighton, and I guess he has been really remarkable, and I feel that the day is not far when he would be targeted by a bigger team very soon. And Tim Krul has been great for Norwich. I think Norwich need his performances a lot. So good for him, good for the team that he is doing fairly well, because they are right now at bottom of the league. So hopefully they can come out of it. And John McGinn, again, we don't associate many goals with him, but it's good that he scored. And Mo Salah has been brilliant. Second game running, he has scored that solo remarkable goal. So it was kind of a deja vu what he did against City. So great performances from Salah again. And Bernardo has been one of the best midfielders for Man City. They have so many options to pick from, but good. So was De Bruyne. De Bruyne is slowly and gradually coming to his mode. Tielemans actually equalized with that the first touch, kind of, I would say, a lob or a goal. So that was a good effort from him. And then we talk about Harry Kane coming back into the foray, which was a very refreshing sight to see, because he has been a superb player for Tottenham and over so many seasons. So he deserved to be there, and it's always good to see him scoring. So now let's talk about teams fixtures going into the game week 9. Which team has easier fixtures? And if you see, so we have shortlisted 4 teams. So what we do and what we analyze is we don't only see the teams which are having the next game which is easier. If you read the next 5 to 6 fixtures, because that is where the value of transfers would come into picture. You don't have to just worry about one transfer. You can have couple of games wherein your player can be secured, provided there is no I would say rotation again on the main player. So Brentford has fine fixtures after even Leicester game. Chelsea has mouth-watering fixtures. Even if you consider 2 tough games, the 4th and 5th game from today against Leicester and Manchester United, both the games Chelsea can definitely get result because of the form and because of where Chelsea are at the top of the league right now. Then Everton, slightly disappointing from the last couple of game weeks, I would say, but they have I think 3 out of 5 are really manageable for Everton as well, and I think they can reap some rewards in those games. We've spoken about Townsend, Doucouré, and their defenders as well. So let's see how they perform. And for Southampton also, I think it's far more important for them that they get into a run. They have now started keeping clean sheets as well. So Southampton is one team which I would really want you to look forward based on their players, the players who start, the players who play regularly. I think this is one team which is going to do fairly well. So these 4 teams, if you want to have players of these teams, which we would also be discussing, you can have those players. Then let's talk about some of the players which we want you to either keep or either sell. Probably you can probably take a call, but we will give you some heads up about couple of players. The first one which we are suggesting you, which is very evident, is Romelu Lukaku. Lukaku has injured himself unfortunately in the last game against Malmo, so he would be out for 4 or 5 games. And for Chelsea, to make matter worse, in fact Timo Werner would also be out for almost the same period. So Chelsea would have a fight on their hand as far as the forward line is concerned, but that would actually open up a lot of opportunities for other players to step in and actually contribute to the goals and eventually keep Chelsea's run going. So you need to sell Lukaku. Second player we are suggesting which you need to sell is Marcos Alonso. Alonso, before the season started, I think he was even we had a suggestion for him in the first game week itself, wherein we said that he has created the highest number of chances as far as the defender is concerned. So when I say chances, I am talking about goals here and little bit of assist. Obviously Alexander-Arnold is way ahead when we talk about chances created, but directly on the goals, I think Marcos Alonso was leading the way with the number of goals a defender has scored. But unfortunately for the last 2 games, Ben Chilwell has come in and actually he has taken everything by storm. Both the games he has scored a goal, and for a defender to do that, it's remarkable. And that's why Thomas Tuchel has actually now had faith in Chilwell. In fact, I don't think he would replace Chilwell anytime soon. So if you have Marcos Alonso with you, I would suggest you to sell him to ensure that you do not lose points and you don't have to call upon your bench when the game's done. And obviously, even if it doesn't start, you don't want somebody to just come for 5-10 minutes and give you 1 point. So take a call wisely. So now these are the players which you need to sell. Now I would talk about a couple of players which you can definitely have in your team right now. The first one I'm talking about, it's a very infamous suggestion, but it's Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz, just a value of 8.1. I would say just because the high-class midfielders which are really doing wonderful are around 11 to 12. The reason we are suggesting him is that the opportunity which would be opened up when Lukaku and Werner both would not be playing. So Havertz would, I presume, would be leading the line, and if he does that, even though he scored 1 goal, that too against Liverpool, I'm pretty sure that in the next few games you would see him notching up a couple of goals. So if you really want to add a solid midfielder, and if you like Chelsea as a team and how they are playing, probably this is a very good selection which you can make. Second one I am suggesting you is again, we have already spoken about Ben Chilwell. I think 23 points he has given the last 2 games, 11 and 12. So both the games he has scored and got some bonus points as well. So I think, and that too is without any previous game time he had in the last 7 games. So he's just played 2 games and he has been phenomenal. So get him on team and look at the next 5 fixtures. I think 3 to 4 games wherein they can definitely have clean sheet apart from what he can contribute as far as the goals are concerned. So get Chilwell on board as well. Another player which we are suggesting, some people might say it's a differential one, but it is Alex McCarthy at 4.5. See, a lot of FPL managers don't invest a lot of money in goalkeepers, but if you're looking for value for money, I think Alex McCarthy is one. Now look at the next 5 fixtures and decide. At least I expect Southampton to keep 3 clean sheets in that. Plus in the last game also against Liverpool, even though there won't be clean sheet, I think it won't be a clean sheet, but there would be a lot of saves which he can make and probably add to his tally as well. And look at the the FPL points he has accumulated in the last 3 games. So in last 5 games rather, he has got 3 clean sheets. And next match, Burnley, Watford. I think these are all games wherein you expect Southampton to get clean sheets and subsequently be really doing well as a goalkeeper. So get him in your team if you really require to change your keeper. Another player, and it's a kind of a differential because not many people knew about Buembo before this week, before this season. A lot of people knew about Ivan Toney, who would have followed Championship, as well as about him if you have been in Championship. But Toney was one name which was doing the rounds because he had an haul of 20 odd goals. But one player which I have been really impressed with, and somebody who would definitely add to his tally, would be Bryan Mbeumo. The reason why is I like this player. Number one reason is that he is a sure starter. He will start all the games of Brentford. Brentford don't have any European football to worry about, so there is no rotation. So if everything goes well and if he is healthy, he would play almost 90 minutes of all the matches. Plus, if you see the matches of Brentford, I think they are all games wherein Brentford, they have looked absolutely dangerous going forward. And Ivan Toney and Mbeumo is somebody, I think they would be in the goals or maybe in the assists. So get him in your team. This is one differentials pick and one of my favorites. So I would always recommend this player to be in your team. Now, if you have Lukaku and if you are looking to change by the same value, then you should not look far than Jamie Vardy. See, Vardy and Salah are fighting for the Golden Boot right now, even though it's very early, just been 8 games. But how Vardy has been consistent is just remarkable. He has been phenomenal in the last maybe half a decade of Premier League, whatever he has played. See from where he has originated. He was playing non-league football at a 20 to 23 years old guy when he was, and how he has taken Premier League by storm, played for England as well. He is a super consistent player. A workaholic, always would be there and there about scoring goals, assisting goals, giving 100%. So the games against, I think, all the opponents, somebody who is vying for Golden Boot, you can back him to score against any team. And one thing which I would talk, which I feel in this Premier League is that no team is looking safe as far as clean sheets are concerned. So you won't get a lot of points of that. There won't be many miser defenses. Obviously, Chelsea is one which comes in the mind, but they have also looked vulnerable. They have also made changes. So now with their forward line also, being dismantled because of injuries, it has to be seen how they react to it. But yes, Jamie Vardy is one player which you can get of the same value if you're looking to replace Lukaku, which you should if you have him. Now I talk about my performance, how it was. I think my 2 game weeks 7 and 8 have been really bad, and it has pushed my rank higher, 383,000 where I am right now as an overall rank. I did not do well in game week 8. Just look at the people who are on my bench and they were automatically substituted because Rafinha could not come back from international break and Leeds suffered 1-0. He is on the bench. Both my Chelsea defenders did not start the game. If they would have done, I would have got 2 clean sheets. So that's where Rudiger and Marcos Alonso were not there. So it's a kind of a sad thing for me. I just got 53 points. It could have been 65 to 70 had all the things would have worked, but that is okay. I'm pretty sure that the comeback is not so far. So the changes which I've made is Saïd Benrahma. I've actually lost patience with Benrahma, though he's a phenomenally promising player, but I need to get Son in the team, and Son is somebody who I strongly feel is now coming on his own, and whenever Harry Kane starts delivering, it's Son also gets benefited. And I think now Nuno is feeling quite comfortable working with Tottenham, how they're playing. So it would be good to see Son doing well. So I think Son is somebody you should and you can get him into your team as well. Another is an obviously like as I've said, Lukaku. I had to replace him. I had absolutely no option. And I've got Vardy. Now I've made 2 changes. The first reason was that I made my first change before Lukaku's injury. This one is a forced one. I might have made a change for Marcos Alonso as well, but I still would like to give him a week or so to see if Tuchel is thinking about getting him in the team, even though Ben Chilwell has looked remarkably in good form. So this is my team right now, and if you see my captaincy picks now, there are a lot of teams which have easier fixtures. So I don't think Premier League has easier fixtures anymore. I mean, anybody can score any time, but the captain which I am picking is Mo Salah. I think he is currently one of the best players in the world. I would say the best player in the world by some distance, the way he's playing right now. With all due respect to all the legends around him like Ronaldo, Messi, but even uh, all the other players in Europe who have been doing well, Mbappe, Neymar. I still feel Salah is way ahead right now, and 7 goals, 5 assists, and it also feels that he misses a lot of chances in a lot of games. He should have scored at least 10 to 11 goals this season in Premier League, but he has scored 7 goals. So cannot look beyond Salah. And if you see Manchester United defense, they are always penetrated. Be it Premier League and Champions League, they concede a lot of goals. They score good goals as well. So Manchester United, the way they play, it's kind of an attacking football. So it's very rare that you would have a clean sheet in this game. So I believe Salah would be able to actually score 1 or 2 goals. So that's the reason why I've picked him as my captain. So that's about it. That's about the this game week, the teams which we have suggested. We would continue suggesting you teams for fantasy every week, and Dream 11 teams is something which you can also look on our YouTube as well as in our Telegram channel. Do subscribe to our channel for all these teams, and let's hope that the content gets better and more value can be added to your FPL teams as well. So take care, and thank you so much.